Hello, everyone. This is Poetry Live, one of Erie's poetry events. We're so happy to be able to bring poetry to the community again. It's really hard during this period, this time in sort of humanity, to just be cooped up all the time, especially as writers of poetry, where we really do want to share. We want everybody to kind of be able to do that, so we're very happy to have this event at the library. I'm not going to have much ado up here, but basically we're just going to have a handful of writers from the Erie community come up and read, and they'll introduce themselves and read a little bit, and they'll step down, and then from there another one will step up. We welcome you in the future if you would like to come and perform or watch the live stream, and it'll also be eventually posted on the county YouTube. Thank you so much, and let's get started. Anybody like to go first? I'll just go first.
Nobody respects.
I'm already standing, so I'll go first. My name is Patrick Nuttall, and I just have two poems for tonight. Fairly small ones, so I think they won't take too long. And both of them were actually written within the quarantine period. So, first one, snowstorm in late spring. In months it may be summer, but until then I will shiver outside, waiting for the bus to drift slowly over the city. The snow, a skin I can't help puncture, handprint on the back of a hatchback window, frost fire over my naked palm. The ground has been thawed for months. The robins vanish under the neighbor's veranda. Like them, I will shake when the wind shifts and catches whatever song was left, leaving their lungs, and scatter away. Okay. You can clap, yeah. I mean, not that you have to clap for me. You can choose to clap for me, but it's nice to clap for people. It's a good thing to do. Okay, after weeks of quarantine. The chickadees start earlier each morning, and sweat dews on my chest as I stand naked in the kitchen. Blotched light slinks through the greasy windows and settles over my stomach and thighs. When you wake, I will say I haven't slept. I will mean I haven't slept well. When you draw water for the tea, I will wander outside, barefoot, into the yard, and wait for the feral cats to scamper over from the azaleas. They never come. You never call me in. Rain smell comes minutes before the bells. And that's it.
I guess I was tradition again. Surprised me. I figure I won't get any germs on anybody if I talk in this direction. You people are too far away from me. Well, as you know, I'm Danny Mitchell, but quite often when I show up, Art Vanguard isn't far behind. And tonight, Art Vanguard wants to read some more poems for you from the political poetry portion of the program. As I have declared as Art Vanguard, 2020 is write a poem about work. At least for me it is. And when I started this project, I realized I had had 28 different jobs in my lifetime. So I'll only bore you with two of them at a time. This week, I'm going to read to you about a laundry worker and a janitor. The laundry worker job was the first job I got out of high school at 18. I only had it for about 4 months, and then I went into the Army. When I came back from the Army, though, I was attending college under the GI Bill, and I went back to that hospital, and I worked during the summer, filling in for people on vacation. So the second job was janitor, and they're both at this hospital, but I'll read them to you as my life progresses. Laundry worker. My first full-time job was pretty cool, or so it seemed. I wore an orderly's uniform and I was part of a team. A locker to leave my civvies in and to change into my whites. I had a job with a future. Things were looking bright. I made my morning rounds just as most wards were changing shift. I'd go to the linen closet at every nursing station on my list. Then down to the basement and through the tunnel I pushed, a cart of dirty laundry to be sorted and washed. The big machines would do their thing, belching bleachy odors, or shaking like an earthquake erupting through the floor. The iron's name was Mangle. That didn't sound okay, but I'm proud to say I still have all 10 fingers today. When the cots were full of clean blankets and linen, 'twas back to the ward where their supplies were thinning, and now they would lie there waiting to be used by all the nurses who keep this hospital running smooth. Thank you. Laundry worker. This next job was when I got back from Vietnam and was going to college, and it was a summer job called janitor. A janitor's job is always fun. You never know what has to be done. You start out unclogging a toilet or sink, then an electric door goes on the blink. Next, it's off to the gift shop to change a light. Then room 263's TV's too bright. The portable x-ray machine needs a new fuse, and the housekeeper's buffer simply refused to do anything but hum and get hot. Putting in a new motor will solve all of that. It's still too early for morning break, so back to our basement workshop, we'll take our work belts off and do paperwork until we get a call about some jerk who drove through the toll gate in the parking garage. We'll be busy till lunch, but we don't disparage. Little things like this don't get us annoyed. It's all these little things that kept us employed. Thank you. Onward 2020.
It's been a while since I've been at a stage. Usually we have nothing like this, but I might. My name is Rich C. I sort of got into writing poetry about 2009 after my mother passed away. And I wanted to express some things that, were going on in me. Now this in here is a little long. My moods actually swing. I'm bipolar, so I could be very happy and very spiritual, and then a little later it could be totally, existential. This one here is more along that line there. I call it helpless, powerless, And I'll start. It's a little lengthy. I visited my daughter in Dallas, looking for a house for a family of 5 and 4 dogs. I felt helpless hearing her cry, learning her bid was declined. Seeing a homeless woman at my delivery, pulling a cart of clothes after the rain, laying them on dumpsters to dry in the sun. I saw a Bible, pages stuck together. I handed her a 20, knowing it wouldn't change nothing. Sometimes our best efforts are debilitating to the weak and infirm. Taking my mandatory 30-minute break in a rest area, next to me were cattle going to market, clueless to what awaited them. Holes in the trailer permitted me to touch the tickets in their ears. I listened to them bleating out their protest, unawares the danger. It seemed surreal, so removed from the idyllic life in a pasture. I felt the powerlessness in my own life, compelled to live in an aura of acceptance. I held a denial so pervasive, whining text which went unheeded. I realized I'm as helpless as a woman in childbirth, bird droppings on my truck window, powerless in hastening the coming of spring, or arguing with an idiot, or saving a floundering drowning victim, or trusting someone whose luck comes from a fortune cookie, helpless as a newborn kitten, the one bent on a suicide mission, the glaciers melting, the rich man in hell, looking at a growling dog, the addict hitting bottom, a movie stuntman ignoring caution. I have no excuse for an alibi. I'm inept to change the music or fix it all by a deathbed confession. Restrained by such limits, man must cope with the silence to his own existence and still be expected to smile. In the absence of reason, laughter might be his best medicine. I have a few here. I'm trying to find it. Maybe I'll just read this one in the back. I am about to lose some things from trying to deal with a conscience. And I know that, it's going to come out of my pocket. It's going to mean working. But that's okay. I've been working anyway. So this will be above the table. I'll trade working against losing welfare benefits, a step forward into being an honest American. It's trial and error before I know whether I've made a profit or a sensible decision. I'm beyond retirement. Imagine my income limits are lower than at 65 to keep benefits. I can now pay on bills, even those that have been long left behind. I chose between health insurance or remaining broke. I've been a recipient a while, unable to afford life insurance or even take care of an auto. I'll be a loser in some respect, but privilege has long been taken for granted. America, I can take care of myself as long as I remain in good health. I see the suffering, the poor, the hungry, the neglected who need our protection. It's not about red, white, nor blue. I only want my piece of pie and eat it too.
Thank you, Rich. Hi, I'm Chuck Joy. If any of you want to read, and I'm almost positive somebody does, you're encouraged to come up to the stage. And there's chairs over here. You can seat yourself up here and at a socially distanced place. So you can come up now if you want. If anybody else here wants to read tonight, you're welcome to come up and take a seat on the stage. If you don't and you still want to read, that's okay. You can wait till it seems like we're done and Patrick says, is there anybody else who wants to read? And then you can get up and walk up here and read without sitting down or having a chair at all. But I'll tell you, there's one other tradition that hasn't survived from Calamari's, and that is being late. That tradition is done, just like Danny isn't the last poet anymore. There's a chair right there. You can have that. So if you want to come up now, that's fine. And if you don't, you still make sure you come up before we're done. So that's a fact, and thank you for coming up. Those are the only choices. Now the two choices are you can come up at any time during the performance. So if you want to wait till Todd reads and then come up, that's okay too. The chairs are over there. And help yourself to a chair if you'd like to. I'm going to read 3 poems. I think they're short enough. And I have a website. If you forgot my name, it's called chuckjoy.com. And that's easy for me to remember anyway. And I'm not the first to read from the phone up here, but I'm going to try it right now. So I go to the browser, and actually I went there earlier today, so it's all set to go. And then when you get to the website, chuckjoy.com, there's a symbol on the upper right, and if you touch it, a sort of index comes up, and if you press the one that says poetry, there are poems there. Some of them are only there. And the first one here is a nice opener, so I'm going to read it tonight. It's called Truth. As poet becomes poem, the voice goes first, given over to phrasing, every line its tune. Vision diminishes, any room, no matter how crowded, recedes. Eye contact reduced to resting the gaze. Those eyes hungry birds, other eyes their nests, each nest exerting its unique attraction. Posture, standing, becomes dance. Any movement, sometimes personifying certain actions. Body English, always powering the breath, the trumpet, hitting a sweet spot, wah, wah, kicking up a knee. Soon clothes, in fact, the body gone, the poet not naked, transparent, all barrier removed, straight through to the truth. Thank you. I'd like to next read a poem from this collection called Percussive. This is a collection that's available at the library here, and you can check it out. If you want your own copy, it's available at Press, the bookstore at 8th and Green Garden. I'd like to read a poem from here, kind of a origin poem, I think of it. It's called Rust Never Sleeps. Living at home, again with the parents, head over heels with words, speaking in lines from a page. 27 years old, a worthy career on hold, listening to his silent voice. Rust Never Sleeps comes along. Old Mr. Soul, a longtime favorite, an older brother never met. They'd been through some things together. Yesteryear record players, his against a window facing west, him at his desk, drinking the music through his ears, the words. When he returned to his routine, he's writing poetry. Thank you. One of the nice opportunities of having a weekly live poetry event is it's an opportunity to share the poetry news. So if any of you do have poetry news, be sure to share it when you come up. For example, if you're involved with any events on a Friday. So it's hard not to fall into the phone when you look at it. Has anybody ever noticed that? The poetry news is that on Facebook, there's a group called Gypsy Art Show, which is known as GAS. That's how you look it up, GAS. And it's provided by a woman in El Paso, Texas, named Belinda Subramon. And I recommend it for your interest and attention. Yeah, that's not working. So Belinda put up a prompt to post a poem by a deceased poet. And I wanted to share this with you. This is a poem that I'm reading for anyone who's never heard it and for everyone who's read it. It's from a collection called Lunch Poems by Frank O'Hara. And I believe the title of this poem is Poem, but it's known by its first line. Lana Turner has collapsed. Lana Turner has collapsed. I was trotting along and suddenly it started raining and snowing and you said it was hailing, but hailing hit you on the head hard. So it was really snowing and raining and I was in such a hurry to meet you, but the traffic was exactly like the sky. And suddenly I saw a headline, Lana Turner has collapsed. There is no snow in Hollywood. There is no rain in California. I have been to lots of parties and acted perfectly disgraceful, but I never actually collapsed. Oh, Lana Turner, we love you. Get up. Thank you. Frank O'Hara.
Hello, again. I suppose it's been a week since the last time we were here, and I'm going to be reading a little bit more from my collection of dreamscape kind of letters, I guess, called Doris. Yeah, and I'm actually reading from a book today, the book that I wrote them in, rather than my phone. There's Thank you. Yeah, book. It's a little bit more of a challenge because, got scribbles and stuff, but I'll make do. I've been practicing. All right, so this is Doris, part 3. Oh, ballyhoo, all straight and blue. No sense in turning the fables through. They burn you in, they'll burn you out. They'll swing an axe at your hard-earned clout. Ascent above, ascent below. Ascent, repent to the dazzle glow. They tick anon, they talk again, but still the chambers are gnashing in. A sing a day, calloo, calais, while I confide in the mountain sleigh. O Doris chorus, bag of leaves, the dagger glows from beneath my sleeves. Thank you. You'll find these are all different formats. Like that one was more rhythmic and rhymey. This one is more of just kind of a straight free verse. And this is Doris, part 4. Buryment, fervent and folded. Faith is not beholden to a mind whose eyes are closed as tightly as the Hoover Dam. Go on, get, scram. Doris, I never meant to say, oops, dramaturg, I hope that you put it away. Pierce the piers, Paris is a parasite. Particles participate as follows. Apart from that part of real parties, Doris, I promise, a participle, bits and kibble me timbers. I'm all fight and limber up. I mustn't be late to the Midas cup. I've a handful of sand and every gland reminds me, don't try me, I'm used and all worn out.
Hi, my name is Lindsey, and I'm going to perform 3 poems tonight. I started working on this collection probably about 1.5 years ago, and I really didn't have a good place to take them out and play with them, and I thought this is the perfect opportunity. So, first one I'm going to do is called Bad Taste. Venom doesn't stay in the blood the way that you do, and mistakes, they are smoke damage compared to your fire. So when you say, I'm sorry, you're a tree falling in the woods. You're the bad taste in my mouth I'm trying to swallow like cheap alcohol or big pills. How can apathy be so powerful, so consuming? How does doing nothing lead to such a big mess? Leave me or love me, there's no difference here. Like a child, you're unaware of the consequences of your actions, baffled by the world's contempt. You look for scapegoats and reasons. You lay accusations, stretching out your charm like dough, always coming up a little short and having to retract. I see you, wave after wave of empty promises and gestures. I am drowning in my own sea of misplaced guilt. I am no match for an ocean, churning me like the tide, but it's my own hand that's holding me under. I am afraid, no, I am terrified of myself. You see, bad decisions seem to be my life's work. When held under the magnifying glass of self-doubt, I want to make you hurt. I want to leave you with a bad taste. The next one I have is called The Comparison Game. We've all heard it. She always did this. He always did that. They always used to. The comparison game. How do you measure up? Do you cook like him? Do you laugh like her? Compliments turned backwards on the tongues of sweethearts. When you're held up and looked through like the lens of another lover, it chips away at the fragile self-image you have recently sewn together with shoestrings. Holding the delicate parts of you, you try to piece together a puzzle, but find that the image is a ghost of someone else's past. You stand back and find yourself playing the comparison game. How do you measure up? Do you offer something else? Who are you to be replacing someone else's love? We can't fix the past, and we can't build houses on the hills of someone else's mistakes, but we can stop playing the comparison game. And the final one I have is called Car Crash Heart. Impact, and the hits keep coming. Haven't you heard? This is the new you. Like a wound left in the open air, it's the feeling of living concussed. You're left feeling always kind of sore, kind of raw. Your mind is metal wrapped around a telephone pole. Your heart is a car horn blaring under a limp body. Panic rises in your chest and sits in your throat. It will all be all right. Impact, and the hits keep coming. Your soul is a windshield whose shards are scattered to the pavement. Your body is smoke hanging in air, a resident by circumstance. I have heard this all before. Rosy words and sweet whispers, paint on a wall that is bound to wash off. I keep looking around for the trap door, expecting to fall, living in chaos so silent that it's deafening. This is a car crash heart.
Oh, mine, oh, mine, oh, my goodness. Hi, my name's Michelle. I'm just going to read a couple short ones. A moment. Alone, the silence is deafening. Suddenly, eyes wide open, a touch. The darkness of loneliness hides, but only for the moment. That's it. This was one of those 5-minute muses I wrote with Mabel Howard, who's one of our fellow poets. And she gave the topic joy, and we had like 5 minutes to watch it. So since we're here with Chuck Joy, we'll say it real quick. Joy. Spring, sprung, run, skip, hop, smile for a while, spin, twirl, faster, faster, fall down. The world spins and spins and spins. Joy unleashed. I laugh and I smile about playing in the park. Kind of a silly one. And then just a really short one. When we had a guest poet come over the winter time, he wrote a lot of one-liners that I thought were fabulous. Michael McGinnis. McGinnis? Is that his name, Michael? But anyway, this is mine. Memory grows to reset with a photo reminder, and then gently, as it falls to the ground, they dissipate under the door. That's it.
Do we have anybody from the audience? It looks like 2 people, so we'll start.
I didn't come up and take a seat because I already had one. I didn't want to be greedy. Like, I already have a seat. And then I'd have to carry the other seat. And I'm so lazy. I can stay up here when I'm done. Yeah, no, I need to walk when I'm done. Is that Jen Myers? Okay, wow. That was some awesome stuff to listen to. Because I'm a terrible listener, so I came here to listen. I'm like, I wonder if I can listen, you know? Love is a trick, a heroin kick that gets you to think you know the story from start to end. Love is the prize, a careless surprise that you accept, so you go ahead and begin. Love is a fraud, an act of God that the universe destined. Love is a doorway, an enter sign that you forgot to question. Love is a sparkly trinket, a cellist cup that you'll never get enough, and now you're going to have to drink it. Love is a missed bus, a revolving turnstile that you think you have the tickets for, a gift that's too much, a Trojan horse war. Thank you. What? You're going to read one of mine? No, I said read. Oh, okay. All right, that would be awesome because I wasn't. I saw you moving over there. See if you can figure out what this one's about. Hey, I'm COVID and I want to live. If you die, it's not something you did. I don't kill most. My kind just want to live till we die. Don't flatten the curve, just makes it worse. Let me reproduce. Come on, turn me loose. Humans die all the time, so that ain't no crime. You kill each other like you're expendable, then wait on the applause like it's commendable. Taking everything from the earth because you think you got more worth, think you're the shits, not after this. A little respect for the microbial sea, or maybe next pandemic I'll get you down on your knees. Try a new economy, maybe a new reality. Let me cohabitate, it's not too late. For you to embrace all species. I'm tired of your redundant refrain. Next time I'll be back with a more virulent, what? Virulent strain. I'm COVID, just want to live, just like you do. So don't kill me too. Embrace me like you do. Then I won't harm you. I have a... What? Oh, that's so nice of you. I like the laundry. And the janitor, you made janitors so powerful. Oh, my God. It was so powerful, like janitors. Yes, yeah. They should be paid more. But I couldn't even get more pay as a teacher. Me and the janitors were tight. They'd be like, how'd you get this work done with no forms? I'd look around. I stole this one from Bob Dylan. You brought the gift early on and waited alone at the train yard. You're a diamond dog and you growl while moving to a better boulevard. Online, sublime, baseline, deadline. You ask for attention in that dark and surf like a cinema shark. World renowned as you slowly dream, and now you're trying to overthrow the regime. In Oklahoma City, you burn for casual confusion so gritty. The charlatan magnetize you and suppression tantalizes you, and it makes you feel shitty. Identity, serenity, obscenities, non-entities, confused by a look like a bat on a hook, where the dust bowl's not what it seems, and there's no time to dream. Corporations will taunt you, the radicals will want you, in either you'll lose yourself. They killed the Tulsa millionaires and no one really cared, and now you think you compare. Barbie doll, sex cabal, so banal, AWOL. Planets defeat you and fate comes to greet you like a virus with an infectious scheme, and there's nothing left to dream. Your rational mind escapes you and some information delayed you where truth and beauty reside. I tip the waiter and complain much later, yet you're surprised by my backslide. Utopia, myopia, dystopia, anopia. Then the wizard of fiction whose game is contradiction and made for the mainstream, and there's no time to dream. I'm just making stuff up. Thank you.
singular. Some of you probably know me, and a couple of you may have even heard one of these poems, because I don't have a whole lot, but I figured I would stop over and read for you guys today. This first one I'm doing is called The Body Remembers. My body remembers the sorrow every year, 1st of October, but at other times too. On your birthday, my body remembers the empty hole of what would have been your 36th. My body remembers the eardrum vibrations, the sound wave of information, that first moment that I knew it was true. My body remembers falling, screaming. My heart remembers breaking. My body remembers absorbing that shock of information as though it were a real, actual punch. My body remembers the hunch of my shoulders as I tried to implode, to erode the pain exploding inside my whole body. My body knows just what to do when I'm grieving you, how to celebrate anniversaries with this tarantella, how to rehearse the dance with various trances throughout the year, until the ear-splitting howl that my body remembers ejecting comes early, like a surprise guest on the 27th of September. It must have something to do with leap year. So I'll just do a few. This next one is pretty short. It's called The Work. They do the work, in casual clothes layered against the cold. As the backhoe moves away, they pick up their shovels, they smooth out the dirt, they do the work. And I wonder, do they pray? Do they think about the body below them or the man he once was? They do the work, and then they walk away. Thank you. And this will be a little bit different. Sorry, I know there's like a whole thing about reading off of your phone, but it is, 2020. All right, this one's called The Gun. Well, it's done, but I still have your gun. And it's funny the gun is the last piece, the last string, the last little bit of the tooth hanging on. It's a gun. And a gun means destruction and ending and stopping and something dropping. But lent for protection, this gun's a connection. And at that, it's the last one. A final excuse to reuse the phone number of he who caused all this pain. But then again, I caused too. And vain search for the truth only results in a mutual misunderstanding and landing just short of a solution to the disillusion of our love. Like in an instant, the tooth came loose, and there's no use in trying to undo its undoneness. The truth is, there's no justice. A new age gets ushered in, whether you want it to or feel caught in it. It's beyond your control. So this is your role. To roll over and take it and hope that you make it, hope your heart won't break in the face of another missed shot. And in fact, we were a tight group in the bullseye at 10 yards, but as the yardage got farther, the grouping got larger and the target got harder to hit. It seemed we fit well, but then time always tells, and great distance shot persistence in the heart. The miles took aim, sniper calm and breath tame, so the game had been lost from the start. We'll part in the end with dark truth of regrets and consequential rejection as the clear reflection of the perfection of this simple killing machine. And returning your gun will mean the success of the hair trigger release that was always set to execute the final death of you and me. Thank you. For safety. Thank you, guys.
Is there anybody else interested in reading tonight? Okay. Well, if nobody else is, thank everybody for coming. Once again, this was a great night, great event. It's so good to see all of you. So good to hear all of you. This will be happening every Thursday, more or less. Thanksgiving obviously is not a thing that we'll be doing here, but so keep an eye out. We want to have you all back. We want to have more people back. We had 14 today, so we still have some space. We can only have 20. I don't know why I told you that. It's just something I said. So yeah, if anybody has any questions or any things they want to talk about afterwards, and we do an interview after that gets posted Currently, I don't have anybody doing that, so if anybody here wants to be talked to for a couple minutes, that would be cool. But otherwise, I look forward to seeing y'all next week, or at least some of y'all. Thank you. Well, awesome. I'm so glad to be able to interview you today. I've seen you at the library, and I've heard you actually read at Cal Myers before, too.
Yes.
So I'm really glad that you're able to come here and perform here. So you had said that you started writing poetry after your mom passed away.
Yes. Yeah.
How have you used poetry to help you sort of ground yourself? Because it sounds like your life before that was pretty crazy.
Well, I have a friend in Arizona. He is also in the recovery program, and he is a poet, and I've got many of his books. I mean, it's a form of expression. It's in like talking to yourself. It's sort of like that. You're looking at the paper, and it has evolved. I mean, my poetry has evolved, and it's not all rhyme. It sometimes takes, as people say, when you write, sometimes it takes off on its own, and you go places you didn't know. It's a wonderful form of expression. I am lacking in musical traits. I don't know if I can even whistle.
Yeah, I can't either.
So I think, I'm grateful for this expression, I mean, you don't have to go out there and drugs and alcohol, which I'm not using now. And a lot of it was just the wrong people. Yeah. But I got into this, I call it a fellowship. And we've been doing this in many places, as you probably know. Started, at the Erie bookstore when it was on 13th.
Okay.
And it's moved to the hotels and to a place on East Avenue, East Lake Road that was really popular that C. Williams had. Yeah. So I just enjoy it thoroughly. I enjoy my time. I don't feel alone when I write. Yeah. I've got books below me. I've started with Bukowski. I got other books. I go to Barnes and Noble, and I'm there forever. Yeah. I just love to read. The first thing is poetry.
What's the most recent book of poetry you've read that's really meant something?
Or
just one that does speak to you.
Well, I looked at many of them up there, and I don't know if I could write in that vein. I have probably 5 or 6 books of Bukowski, Charles Bukowski. Yeah. And I love that craziness. Many times my life has been crazy. I've had consequences for my actions that were crazy. And then I could write about them as though nonsense were normal. I mean, how many people have normal lives, really? So I think I fit in. I found a place where I fit in, And
if you talk to enough poets and read enough poetry, you'll find some strange people out there, including myself.
I've liked other poets. I had some English courses in college and I read poetry. It's Robert Frost, Emily Dickinson, and Whitworth, and many others. Yeah, absolutely. But this freeform verse, I got into it. Just came down one night to listen. Yeah. And what an amazing experience it was. The people were friendly. Coffee. It just felt like, I found a place, and like I go to coffee shops, and I listen to music. It's just a wonderful venue for, something to do other than like running to the mall and spending money, which I love to do.
Yeah, spending money is always fun. Yeah. So it sounds like one of the best parts about being in Erie in the poetry scene is just how close everybody is and how much community. And that's something you've talked to a lot, and I've heard Chuck talk about that. In fact, that's why we were so excited to have this here. It's because we wanted to encourage the community to gather.
I thank you for that.
Hey, no problem. We're so happy to do it. If you were to talk to somebody, if you were to encourage somebody to become a part of the poetry community, in Erie or otherwise, what would you say to them?
Oh gosh, everyone has a story. There have been people that have come and gone that I wish would have stayed. Their poetry was good. I don't know if they had something in their chest, something in their soul they had to express, so they came and they were there, and then I haven't seen them. It's different with me. I'm like, this is where my feet are set. This is what I like to do. Like I said, I go to the gym, I work out. I have friends, I go to meetings, but this is another venue outside of all that where, you know, I can talk. And I haven't written a book. I have one chapbook that was done, but I've never gotten in on getting anything published. But I just love it. I love it. And there's so many people out there that like I said, have come. They have something that they want to tell, but whether it was a story of abuse, something in their history, defamation of character, you know, racism, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I alone cannot do that. I have my own things that happened in my life, which I write about. I often thought I could write some other way, but I really can't. I couldn't write your story.
Yeah.
That's your story. And I need to hear that. So, yeah, people just need to come. I mean, we've had people come. We've had people in the background with drums and guitars, and we've had rappers. There's all kinds of poetry. There isn't one particular type. So if you're out there and you think you want to come, you're more than welcome. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's kind of all I have to ask. I love talking with you. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you again next week, hopefully.
Oh, yeah. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Thank you.